training for whatever it is that you and your staff will need. There's also training just to get up to speed and to see what's new when Microsoft Word updates itself. So we'll go ahead and get started here. We're talking about the Word features that will save time and improve productivity. And what we're going to be talking about today is specifically really understanding the foundations of Word, what you can do to kind of troubleshoot issues that you may be having in Word, and then some time-saving tips. So what you'll notice when you log into Word or Excel or PowerPoint or any of the Microsoft Office applications is that at the very top of the screen, you'll notice that there is a ribbon. And that is where it's kind of replacing the old file menu. But in this case, it's called a ribbon. And on each ribbon, there are tabs. So you'll notice here in this picture that the Home ribbon tab is selected. Home is underlined, it's bolded. And then, of course, if you read from left to right, you have the Insert tab, Draw tab, Design, etc. And on each tab, there are these groups. For instance, the Clipboard group. As noted here at the bottom, you'll see this Clipboard or the Font group or the Paragraph group, Styles group, etc. And those are grouped buttons that relate to one another in that section. So these will be all of the font type groups, all of the paragraph type groups, and then down here at the bottom, in the bottom right corner of this particular group, you'll see what is referred to as a dialog box launcher. Once you click on that, a dialog box will open with even more, sometimes advanced settings, but just another some additional settings in addition to what you'll see here. So on the Home ribbon group, these are just a collection of all the frequently used items and features. And then, so for instance, you'll have your Clipboard group, which will cut and copy and paste, and then your Font group, where you're talking about formatting, text effects, etc. The Paragraph type group, where you'll see bullets and numbering, sorting, borders, fill colors, and then style groups. We're going to get into that, where you'll see where you can set styles and really apply them all throughout your document in one motion, whereas you would want to use this as opposed to changing a font in various sections on your document. You already set a style, and then it's easy to change those styles at once. And then your editing group, where you can find, replace, and do some selections. So here's a quick tip with regard to troubleshooting. If you come into an issue where you have made a mistake of some sort, or something didn't quite go the way that you want it to go, always undo. Never try to fix it. Always undo what you have done. And you can do that by going up to the quick access toolbar and choosing undo, or by just simply using the keyboard shortcut of Control-Z. So you want to do that to correct an action. There are multiple, you'll see your last several actions that are, when you click on this down button next to the undo, you will see multiple there, so you can either undo one or several. Here's another time-saving tip. I showed you the quick access toolbar when we were talking about the undo button, but you can customize this quick access toolbar. If you're constantly using the draw table feature here, you can add that to the quick access toolbar. It doesn't just simply have to be undo, redo, and save. You can customize it to whatever you would like. There's a button on that quick access toolbar right here that will allow you to customize this list. And so that's really helpful. Like for instance, if you wanted to add bullets and numbering or some type of sorting to it, whatever you use most often that you don't want to have to dig around to get to, whatever that option is, and you would simply click on that button that I showed you and then choose whatever it is. For instance, if you wanted to choose change list level, and you would add it here, and it would appear on your quick access toolbar. And this is customizable. as many times as you would like. You click OK, and then it's all set. Now, another thing about troubleshooting in Word that I wanted to kind of touch on is using those paragraph marks. So you can use this keyboard shortcut of Control plus, or it's on the paragraph subgroup on that home ribbon tab. And it kind of looks like a backwards P. And when you use this show hide paragraph marks, what you'll see is what's kind of hiding underneath the surface. What is hiding behind the scenes that you may not realize that you are contending with. This often happens, when you have inserted a picture or perhaps some type of page break or column break. You don't necessarily see what's happening, but you can tell that something is preventing you from doing the thing you want to do. And so turning on these paragraph marks will allow you to see what's going on in the background. These do not appear when you get ready to print, but you will see those paragraph marks. I'll give you an example. So let me share my newsletter here. So for instance, here I have my paragraph marks being shown, and I'll zoom in here so you can really see what I'm referring to. So here you have each time that there's a line, it ends with a paragraph mark, and therefore that is in a paragraph. So this is a paragraph, and this is a paragraph, and this selection here is a paragraph in Word form, in Word definitions. We don't think of, this line being a paragraph, but as far as Word is concerned, it is a paragraph. So you'll see that ending a paragraph, and that's the indication. This would be a tab marker. And in between each of the words, you'll see this dot, which indicates a space. Now, if I were to insert like a page break, you would notice here that that's there, right? So there's various pieces of data and information that is in our, that is hidden normally, where you wouldn't see those things. And that's here where you have the show hide paragraph marks. Now this brings me to the next tip. Hovering over any of these selections, any of the buttons that are on the home ribbon tab, or any of the tabs. Hovering shows you the the smart tip. So for instance, when I hover over this button, you'll see show/hide. It tells you the keyboard shortcut, if there is one. And it also will tell you what that thing does, what it's used for. For instance, if I were to hover here, it tells me this is the decrease, increase font button. So you can hover over any of these things, and it's especially helpful when you have your these tiny, small icons that you are hard to recognize. For instance, if I'm going here and I may not know, what all of these are, you can just simply hover over any of these and be able to tell what that thing is. And sometimes for instance, for the format painter, it will give you the keyboard shortcut, but it also gives you some instructions on how to use it step by step, 1 through 3, and tells you how to use that thing. Now, speaking of how something happens, I want to introduce you to this search bar here. If there is an instance where there's this thing, like, oh, I know I can do this one particular thing, but I don't know exactly where to find it. Maybe you click on this search bar and then type in bibliography. And you don't want to type in you don't want to hit enter. You just want to type the word, right? Here we go. You want to just type the word, and then it will bring up functions or features that are related to the word that you typed in. It'll also bring up any documents where the word bibliography is perhaps in the subject or the title of that document. And then it will allow you to search on the web generally for some additional information right from Word, which is super helpful because you don't have to be a whiz at Word. You can just simply type in that thing and it will bring you all these pieces and parts. So you can insert a bibliography or a citation, or find the document that you had that had bibliography in the name, or search online right from that place. All right, so moving on, I did want to show you a couple of other things. Let me make sure that you're seeing what I want you to see here. All right, perfect. Okay, so we talked about the paragraph marks. Now, this is another explanation of how that will all work when you see your section breaks here, or perhaps your spaces or the paragraph ending marks. Those are all very helpful. Setting styles is also super helpful in when it comes to time-saving tips. Whereas you may have a 30-page document, and for every header, you want it to apply, you want it to make it bold or reduce the size because now it's taking up more space than you thought it would be. You can easily apply a style from the beginning to those and modify the styles. Styles is on the home ribbon tab in the styles group, and you would choose normal is like the body of your document, whereas you can have headings or titles, etc. If you like what you already have in there, you can highlight that and apply that style to the setting and very effectively customizing that style to your situation. And you can customize that both for this document only or for new documents going forward. That's really helpful. Like if your company perhaps has a color or font or theme that they like for you to use on going forward and on all of the company documents to show some kind of standardization, you would use that. So all the new documents going forward, you would not have to make these changes, right? You would already have those changes in place and then be able to roll along with it. So that's really helpful. That brings us to the insert ribbon tab. This ribbon will, thinking of your keyword of insert, anytime you have to insert something into your document like word art or a picture or a table, inserting headers or footers, page numbers, etc. You want to use things on the insert ribbon tab, and you'll see things like I said, tables. Illustrations will include smart arts or screenshots, which is super helpful. I've used that a lot since I discovered that feature. And then also headers and footers. There are some preset options that are available, and so those are super helpful. Now, in addition to that, there are a ton of really powerful features under the text section. If you want to insert some auto text is if you end every letter or every document with, oh, feel free to contact me at this number and at this email address, sincerely, your name, you can add that as an auto text. That way, on any document that you're using, you can just plug that right in, and then you won't have to type that out anymore, or dig up the last document that you use it on and cut and paste. You can save those auto text features right in Word, and you can pull it in and apply it to any document, which is really helpful. Maybe there's a form that you like to use or a paragraph with a disclaimer that you might want to add to every document. You can add that as auto text and be able to apply that to whatever document you're using. And that's on the insert ribbon tab and the text section, and then auto text. So in addition to that, there are symbols that are available here, and we can take a look at those. And this is the auto text that I was telling you about, where you can enter in that information that you're always adding, which is super helpful. And you'll have a gallery of those to choose from, and you can use those in auto text. Okay, so what I want to do is kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about here. So when we were, let me show you, make sure you can see my example here. Okay, so here's an example of some troubleshooting that you can do and some formatting that can be applied. What I was doing here was creating a newsletter. And so when you're inserting some things, I can show you that. For instance, here's an example. If I wanted to apply the margins, those are actually on the layout ribbon tab. On this ribbon, you'll see things like margins, and page orientation, setting column sizes. So for instance, I'll just quickly run through this. For instance, you can set custom margins, although there are some preset ones here. And say I wanted to set custom margins of 0.75 on all sides. I could quickly do that and set this custom margin here. And I want to apply that to the whole document as opposed to only this page or from this point forward. Then if I wanted to change the theme is on the design ribbon tab. And if you look here on the design ribbon tab, you'll see the themes here, any type of document formatting that is available. And within Word, there are a lot of different menus that will contain a live preview. And you'll note that each time I hover over a different one of these, it will tell me what that thing is called. In fact, this is called the black and white capitalized. And then it will provide a live preview in the background to what it's going to apply itself to. And you'll see that there. Then you'll have theme colors. Anytime that you have colors in Word, you'll notice that it is, you'll have not only, for instance, font colors, you'll have these theme colors here at the top, and then the standard colors here at the bottom. Theme colors will change based on which theme that you have it set to. And we want to change this theme. The Office theme is the default theme. And you'll notice that when I hover over this themes button, it tells me all about themes, how you can change styles, fonts, colors, and effects using a theme. All those are tied to a specific theme, or you can create a custom theme if you wanted to do that. Custom themes are really helpful when it comes to a business that has specific brand colors, brand fonts that they prefer to use. You would perhaps set up a custom theme for that. That way you can always have that set up. And you can set those custom themes in here, create a theme and maybe make tweaks to it and then save that theme. Okay, so, and then you can apply fun things like a page color or a page border. You can change the color of those pages to anything that you would like. For instance, I'm going to choose a border that looks like something like a lightning theme here and apply that to the whole document. So therefore, it shows you themes like this. You can apply column settings to this. That's on the layout ribbon tab where we saw our margins and our orientation. You can set this to have 3 columns. And what you'll notice is if you go down here to the more columns button, you'll see where you can add a line in between. You can change the spacing in between each of these columns and apply that to the selected text. The other thing I wanted to show you, which is really super helpful because I like when people want to edit something or perhaps, you know, shift things and center things, this is really helpful here. Now, for instance, I have this weekly newsletter and I want weekly newsletter to be left aligned, but I want the issue 49 to be right aligned. One way to do that is over here on the left, you'll see in between the two rulers, the vertical ruler and the horizontal ruler, there is this button that is called the tab selector. And the default is a left tab. But if you click through and kind of cycle through here, you'll see the center tab, the right tab, and then this decimal tab. So what you'll see here, and then it goes through all these different pieces and parts of the tab selector. So if I wanted to set a tab setting here, and I choose the right tab for this one here, what'll happen is, okay, so now that one is the right tab. Let me just double click here. What I want is I want a tab stop at the 6.5 inch setting with a right set here. And I'll just clear these here. That way, when I set a right tab, what it'll do is place this all the way on the edge of my document here. That way, when I don't have to keep tabbing over and then space until it gets to the end, this, because there is a tab here, it will apply this right alignment to the words or the text that is after the tab selection, which is really helpful in that you don't have to kind of keep, if I were to change the font here, I wouldn't have to keep moving it around and fitting it in. I would just always have that selection there, no matter what size the font would be. Again, that live preview is there. So those are some things that you can kind of use. There's tons of formatting tips that you can use. Like for instance, if I wanted to change this to I'll go to the insert ribbon tab and apply this dark green, and let's see here, 72. And I can center this tab. Now, when you're selecting these things, and I'll quickly tell you this, these handles on the edge indicate that this text box has been selected. Okay, and then if you were to drag any of these these handles, you could adjust the size. When you have your 4 pointed arrows here like this, then you can move it from side to side or up and down or any combination. You'll notice as I center this in the middle, you'll see this green bar indicating that I have in fact centered my selection. So that's really helpful and important to know. Then you have fun things like a drop cap that you can add in. So I'll place my insertion point where you see my cursor flashing in front of the B for this particular paragraph. And you can insert a drop cap. That's here. Drop cap dropped. Fun, right? Instead of making it big or inserting a text box and trying to kind of wrap the text around it, you have all those options within Word that you can utilize. And then I just want to show you this information here with regard to troubleshooting. More tips. So when you're troubleshooting in Word and you have pictures that you need to arrange, you definitely want to turn on your show hide paragraph, but you also can choose these options here under the arrange section. What you'll find is that when you have a picture and you've inserted a picture, you'll be able to see that another ribbon has appeared, right? And this is the picture format contextual tab. Contextual tabs appear when the thing that you have clicked on is available. Like for instance, a table format contextual tab, or a picture format, or a shape format contextual tab, or for that matter, a header or footer contextual tab. What you'll see is that a new tab will appear on the ribbon. And then you'll have these options here. For instance, to position, you can change it to wherever you want to position it. with regard to the text. And then you'll have these wrap text features. The features that are most, will give you the most flexibility are the in front of or behind text. Then you can move it anywhere you want to and then just adjust the text. But generally you want to choose something like a tight wrapping around your text. Then you can use these bring forward or send backwards, align. If you have multiple pictures, those are all really helpful when you're using pictures and you want to get it to where you want it to be. You have to use these wrap text features as well as send forward and bring, send backward and bring forward. These are all super, super helpful to make sure that the picture is going in the place that you want it to go and that your text is able to do what you want it to do related to that picture. So those are helpful when you're troubleshooting in Word. So you'll see, for instance, here's a picture and the handles indicate that it's been selected, and then you can wrap that text around it in any manner. So you'll see here, I was able to resize it, and over here, whenever you select this text, there will be this wrap text feature that's kind of hanging out on the side, giving you more options to wrap it. You don't always have to go to the ribbon to get it. This is there, and you can choose from those very same options. We talked about the design ribbon tab where you have your themes and your colors and perhaps any type of font style sets that you want to set up. Here's also where you would apply like a watermark if you wanted to say that this is a draft or change the page color for whatever reason. Setting those custom themes is really helpful. Like I said, if your organization has a particular logo or set of colors, standard colors that you want to assign, you can do that here when you can edit your theme colors. And those are here on the design ribbon tab. And then it's always helpful to learn some keyboard shortcuts. Control Home will take you to the very topmost portion of your document. Control W will close your document while leaving Word open. And then Control K will help you to insert a hyperlink, whereas you can insert that and then select the desired display text. For instance, if you say click here for to go to fill out our form, right? You would select click here, hit Control K, and then type in that desired place, whether it's a place on your document that you want it to link to, or opening up a separate document, or going to a place on the web. The last thing I kind of want to touch on is the backstage view. This is what you will get when you hit the File ribbon tab. Here you can save your documents. You can apply the various settings here with regard to the properties, and you can do a lot of powerful background global commands for the Word application. Here you would edit some properties. You can save it as a PDF file or perhaps a print, export, etc. Now, I do want to quickly tell you about the difference between save and save as. When you save a document, and Word has a default location where it saves documents, and it has a default name. It'll be document 1, right? So when you hit save as, it gives you the options to save this document that has not yet been saved in a specific place with a specific name other than the place that you have the default settings set to. Once you have already saved it in that one place with that particular name, then you hit save and it will update the saved file, right? So the difference between save and save as, you would set a new name and location when you hit save as opposed to save. It will take all on the current settings or the default settings. Now, what I want you to do is I'm going to be posting this video of our time together so that you can go back through, because I know I really rushed and went through a lot of those things really quickly. But try practicing and incorporating these new skills into your daily workflow. Also, come back to our website and browse those course offerings that we have. We offer just general Microsoft certification prep or some type of specific information that you and your team want to work on together. Also, we have some self-study options where you can go at your own pace and be able to access some really cutting edge software that will simulate Microsoft and walk you through all the processes, if that is what you would prefer. Also, follow us on Facebook and Instagram for any new offerings that we're going to have, especially when it comes to opening up when we have updates to the system. So thank you so much for attending. Thank you for your time and efforts and connecting with us. We will be sending each one of you a discount for future services with Monarch Business Pro. Thank you again. Have a great day.